Member for Oak Bay, Gordon Head.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. Honourable Speaker, it's well understood within the scientific community that the loss of natural habitat due to human activities is the primary cause for the disappearing caribou herds in British Columbia. Deforested land provides grazing opportunities for ungulates like deer and moose, which move in along with their natural predators, like, for example, wolves and cougars. And caribou then become the bycatch of these predators. Honourable Speaker, because the caribou were sparsely distributed to begin with, the herds simply cannot survive this increase in mortality. And with so few mountain caribou left in the South Selkirk region and rapidly dwindling or extirpated northern caribou herds in the South Peace region, their future looks bleak. Honourable Speaker, my question is this. What is this government doing to ensure that the habitat for the remaining relatively healthy woodland caribou populations is protected in light of growing pressures from mining, natural gas and forestry sectors?
Minister for Forest Lands and Natural Resource Operations.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and thank you to the member for the question. As you know, the province has implemented mountain caribou recovery implementation plans. Oversight is provided on those plans by a progress board, a progress team with a wide range of stakeholders and interests on those teams. They report out annually. Since the plans were implemented or adopted, over 2.2 million hectares of habitat has been protected. 108,000 hectares in the Selkirk, in the South Selkirk area, 400,000 hectares in the Peace River. So we continue to work with the input of scientists, biologists, the progress team to monitor the implementation, to ensure that we continue to provide that habitat for this very, very important species here in British Columbia.
Member for Oak Bay, Gordon Head, on a supplemental.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. My concern with this, of course, is that under the Species at Risk Act, government must act to protect land when the caribou are threatened. My concern is for existing mountain herds that are not subject to Species at Risk legislation today because they are not threatened today. You know, these protected lands also are incredibly important for biodiversity, especially in light of the ongoing global warming that I recognize there are some in opposition believe is not actually occurring, despite overwhelming scientific evidence. A lot of these protected areas for the existing caribou herds, Honourable Speaker, that are threatened are old-growth forests. And they are only protected, Honourable Speaker, in light of the fact that they must protect them under the Species at Risk Act. My concern is this. Scientists will tell government that the South Selkirk herd will go extinct, despite the government's efforts. The government then no longer has to protect these forests under the Species at Risk legislation. My question to the minister is this. Will the minister commit to the continued protection of these forests even if the caribou herds, those herds which required the forest to be protected in the first place under Canada's Species at Risk Act, will they still be protected because of the pressures that they will get from the forest industry for this valuable timber?
Minister for Forest Lands and Natural Resource Operations.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and thank you for the supplementary question. The 2.2 million hectares of land protected under the implementation plans. As I said, we continue to work with the progress team to monitor those implementation, to report out annually on progress on the implementation plans. As was mentioned, the herds are dispersed, 15 separate herds across British Columbia. So that's why important we continue to get the scientific and biologist advice in through the progress report and the range of stakeholders that are on the progress board report. And that's why we're also taking additional actions in order to, particularly on the high-risk herds, to deal with what the member opposite talked about, imminent expiration of those herds. That's why we've taken extraordinary steps in those specific herds to give the best chance that we can to ensure that we continue to protect and recover those herds, and that's where the focus of activity will continue to take place.